Q64.EO Section 8 in the Right to Information Act, 2005-08. Exemption from disclosure of information. Notwithstanding anything contained in this act, there shall be no obligation to give any citizen information, disclosure of which would prejudicially affect the sovereignty and integrity of India, the security, strategic, scientific or economic interests of the state, relation with foreign state or lead to incitement of an offense, information which has been expressly forbidden to be published by any court of law or tribunal or the disclosure of which may constitute contempt of court, information, the disclosure of which would cause a breach of privilege of Parliament or the state legislature. 16 www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IAS. Information including commercial confidence, trade secrets or intellectual property, the disclosure of which would harm the competitive position of a third party, unless the competent authority is satisfied that larger public interest warrants the disclosure of such information, information available to a person in his fiduciary relationship, unless the competent authority is satisfied that the larger public interest warrants the disclosure of such information, information received in confidence from foreign government, information, the disclosure of which would endanger the life or physical safety of any person or identify the source of information or assistance given in confidence for law enforcement or security purposes, information which would impede the process of investigation or apprehension or prosecution of offenders. Cabinet papers including records of deliberations of the Council of Ministers, Secretaries and other officers. Provided that the decisions of Council of Ministers, the reasons thereof, and the material on the basis of which the decisions were taken shall be made public after the decision has been taken, and the matter is complete, or over, provided further that those matters which come under the exemptions specified in this section shall not be disclosed, information which relates to personal information, the disclosure of which has not relationship to any public activity or interest, or which would cause unwarranted invasion of the privacy of the individual unless the Central Public Information Officer or the State Public Information Officer or the appellate authority, as the case may be, is satisfied that the larger public interest justifies the disclosure of such information, provided that the information, which cannot be denied to the Parliament or a state legislature, shall not be denied to any person. Q65.CO. Just as we need food for development, growth and well-being, plants also require nutrients for growth. Nutrients are supplied to plants by air, water and soil. There are 16 nutrients which are essential for plants. Air supplies carbon and oxygen, hydrogen comes from water, and soil supplies the other 13 nutrients to plants. Though amongst these 13 nutrients, 6 are required in large quantities and are therefore called macronutrients. The other 7 nutrients are used by plants in small quantities and are therefore called micronutrients. Macronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, sulfur. Micronutrients: iron, manganese, boron, zinc, copper, molybdenum, chlorine. Q66.EO. When we talk about our chemical system losing or gaining energy, we need to introduce a quantity which represents the total energy of the system. It may be chemical, electrical, mechanical or any other type of energy you may think of. The sum of all these is the energy of the system. In thermodynamics, we call it the internal energy, U of the system, which may change when O heat passes into or out of the system, O work is done on or by the system, O matter enters or leaves the system. Hence, all are correct. Q67.BO. The Basel Committee on Banking Supervision (BCBS) is the primary global standard setter for the prudential regulation of banks and provides a forum for cooperation on banking supervisory matters. Its mandate is to strengthen the regulation, supervision and practices of banks worldwide with the purpose of enhancing financial stability. The Basel Committee comprises 45 members from 28 jurisdictions, consisting of central banks and authorities with formal responsibility for the supervision of banking business. Additionally, the committee has 9 observers including central banks, supervisory groups, international organizations and other bodies. Hence, Statement 1 is correct and Statement 2 is not correct. The BCBS has developed a series of highly influential policy recommendations known as the Basel Accords. These are not binding on member countries, and must be adopted by national policymakers in order to be enforced. Hence, Statement 3 is correct. 17 www.visionis.in Copyright Vision IAS. Q68.co. The biggest carbon reservoir is in rocks, weighing in at some 66 billion metric tons of carbon. In very rare instances, as in roughly 0.004%, carbon in rock is in the form of coal, oil, or natural gas. Most of the time it occurs as a chemical component of plain old granite, sandstone, or limestone. The lithosphere and mantle contains about 100 million GDC. This is by far the largest reservoir. The carbon dioxide is stored in the interior of the earth in the form of carbonate rocks, such as limestone, dolomites, and chalk. However, carbon from this reservoir is exchanged extremely slowly with the carbon in the ocean and atmosphere. Among this large reservoir there are also about 4,000 GDC in the form of fossil fuels, oil, coal, and natural gas. These fossil fuels have been buried for hundreds of millions of years and are now being extracted and burned by humans. The next biggest reservoir for carbon on Earth is the ocean. Deep ocean contains 39,000 gigatons of carbon GTC. This contains much more carbon than all the reservoirs above, but it can only exchange carbon with the atmosphere very slowly. Q69.A. The correct arrangement from west to east is Jamnagar, Mudra, Barani, Bangajayan. Q70. The Owens Karanya is the third of the 6 Scorpion-class submarines being built by Mazadon Dock Shipbuilders Limited (MDL) under the Project 75 program of Indian Navy. It is designed to operate in all theaters, including the tropics. It is provided with all means and communications to ensure interoperability with other components of the naval task. In all, 6 Scorpion submarines are being indigenously built at MDL under Project 75 with help of French Naval Defense and Energy Company DCNs. The first of these, Hans Kelberry, was commissioned in December 2017, and second, Hans Condorite, is undergoing sea trials. Remaining 4 submarines will be inducted gradually by 2020. These are diesel-electric attack submarines equipped with anti-ship missiles. The first 4 submarines will be conventional, while last 2 will be equipped with the Air-Independent Propulsion AIP system, which will enable them to stay underwater for longer duration. It has superior stealth features such as advanced acoustic silencing techniques, low radiated noise levels, and hydrodynamically optimized shape. These stealth features give it an invulnerability